some crazy things happening today. I was just watching the video about a dad that jumped overboard to save his daughter that fell off the cruise ship. It's crazy. So I've been looking into that, and I will have the story about that coming up. So stick around. Hey, welcome back. I'm Jordan with Beyond the Dock, and today is Monday, June 30th, 2025. We got your cruise news. So the Disney Dream was returning from a 4-day cruise into the Bahamas. It was yesterday was the at-sea day before it hit the port today, and a little 5-year-old girl fell off the cruise ship. She fell off deck 4. We don't know how yet, but her dad quickly jumped in to save her. And he was able to reach her, and because it was just after 11 o'clock in the morning, it was still bright. Other passengers saw what happened. They quickly alerted the crew, and they sounded the alarm for Mr. MOB, which is their man overboard code. And they stopped the ship. Of course, they can't quickly stop the ship because it's so big, but they stopped the ship. They got a boat in the water to go rescue the father and daughter. Now, the ship was traveling at about 25 miles per hour, and although they did stop it as quickly as they can, it takes a while for the ships to stop. So they were a little bit of a distance away, but the father was treading water, and I'm hearing different reports as far as the time frame goes, hearing anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes that he was treading water. And luckily, they saved the father and the daughter. Always a happy ending. So every month, there's about 1 to 2 people on average that go overboard, and the majority of those that do go overboard end up not being recovered, or they're recovered but it's too late. Very few are rescued alive. So this is a very happy story for that. So now, how did the girl end up overboard? There are so many safety measures in place to keep kids safe. Disney is a cruise primarily for children, so they take safety very seriously. Now, I've been reading a lot of reports, nothing confirmed, so we don't want to speculate and we don't want to start blaming. So one report I read said the father put the daughter on the rail, which would make sense, but I didn't see anything confirming that. So every time I go on a cruise, I think about this as I'm just standing there staring at the ocean off the rail, just thinking, if someone were to go overboard, or if one of my kids were overboard, what would I do? And so I always make sure I know where the little life preserver, I always look for that, so that if I'm just standing there just looking over the ocean, if I do happen to see someone in the water, I can get to it and throw it. Of course, that most likely will never happen, but those are things that go through your mind. And of course, if it was one of my children, I would jump in just like that father did, without hesitation. I just got back from a cruise yesterday morning. We had quite a few delays, but the weather was nice, but that's not so much the case right now, it looks like. In Florida, there's a disturbance over pretty much all of Florida and along the coast there. But there's only a 20% chance of a cyclone developing within the next 7 days. So it looks like it shouldn't get stronger than it currently is, but it is there, and it will cause more delays in cruises and flights. So be aware of that. And then off the coast of Mexico, western Mexico, we have more disturbances once again. We seem to have quite a few out there lately. But there is one tropical storm that is expected to become a hurricane early tomorrow. And then there is another disturbance with a 30% chance of developing into a cyclone off the coast of Mexico. So just keep these things in mind if your cruise is coming up. Watch closely for flight delays. Maybe plan to get there a little early, like get to the cruise a day ahead, and book earlier flights rather than later once you leave, just to ensure that if your flight's delayed, you still have a chance of getting home. Because for us, I wasn't sure what time I'd get to the airport, so I don't want to book too early. So our flight was at 4 o'clock, and we ended up getting to the airport at 10, so next time, 11:30, between 11:30 and 2, it seems to be a good window because those flights were delayed a little bit, but they all still made it out. But my flight at 4 o'clock kept getting pushed back, and then finally the connecting flight had already left. And so we missed it, had to switch airlines, and finally got home. Touchdown at the airport at about 1 a.m. And originally we were supposed to land at 8:45 p.m., so quite the delay. Anyway, weather does play a big factor, and it can turn an amazing cruise vacation into a nightmare just because of the airport problems. So anything you could do to prepare and alleviate those problems is always a good thing. It will help make your cruise much more enjoyable, and you'll remember the cruise and not the airport. And if you haven't already done so, please be sure to like and subscribe so you're kept aware of the videos that come out. We have more cruise videos coming. We'll also continue to have cruise news videos. Well, that's all I have for today. I will get some more videos from my cruise out later on. I was on the Norwegian Aqua, so look out for those. And until next time, we'll see you as we venture beyond the dock. Happy cruising.